In a quiet village on the edge of an ancient forest, there lived a poor man named Elric. His clothes were patched. He was in very bad shape. And his little hut was barely standing. However, Elric's heart was full of compassion. He helped those in need. Every day Elric went into the forest to collect firewood, which he sold at the market for a few coins. One cold winter morning, when the ground was covered with snow, Elric wandered deep into the forest in search of firewood. His condition had worsened due to the cold winds. But he did not give up. And he walked forward, humming. As he approached a thick bush, he heard a painful cry. "Help me, please." Startled, Elric followed the voice. And found a small creature trapped under a fallen branch. The creature's golden wings shone like sunlight buried in the snow. And its small face was full of pain. It was a magical fairy. "Don't worry, I will help you," Elric said softly. Despite his fatigue, he knelt down and carefully lifted the branch, freeing the fairy. She fluttered her wings weakly and began to hover in front of him. Her radiance was slowly returning. "You have saved my life," the kind-hearted fairy said, her voice soft and melodious. The fairy said, "I will grant you 3 wishes as my gratitude. But remember, choose wisely, because wishes can shape the course of your life." Elric was stunned. He had never dreamed of such an opportunity. But instead of rushing to make demands, he sat down under a tree and thought carefully. Finally, he said, "For my first wish, I want enough food to fill my stomach and share with my neighbors. No one in my village will go hungry." The fairy smiled and waved her tiny hand. Suddenly, a large basket appeared in front of Elric, filled with warm bread, ripe fruit, fresh vegetables, and meat. The smell made his stomach rumble, but he did not eat anything until he returned to the village and joined his neighbors in a feast. That night, the village, which had long suffered from hunger, was filled with laughter and gratitude. Days turned into weeks, and Elric thought deeply about his next wish. As he sat in his crumbling hut during a rainstorm, water dripping from the holes in the roof, he decided on his second wish. "Fairy," he called, and she appeared in a burst of golden light. "For my second wish, I would like a sturdy house that would shelter me and others who have nowhere to live." The fairy nodded and clapped her hands. In an instant, Elric's shabby hut was transformed into a warm, comfortable palace. With thick walls and many rooms. The villagers were amazed at the beautiful house, and Elric welcomed anyone who needed shelter. His palace became a haven for the weary, the sick, and the lonely. As the weeks passed, Elric found himself pondering his final wish. Many of the villagers suggested ideas: wealth, power, or eternal youth. But Elric's heart was too selfless for such wishes. He wanted something that would bring lasting good to the world. One evening as he sat by the fire, he summoned the fairy again. She appeared, her glow brighter than ever. "Have you decided on your final wish, Elric?" she asked. "Yes." He smiling. "For my third wish, I ask that you visit those who truly need help, just as you have helped me. There are many people in this world who are suffering and hopeless. Share your magic with them." The fairy's eyes sparkled with tears of joy. "You are a rare and great person. Very few people use their last wish for the good of others. Because of your selflessness, I want to give you something more." With a wave of her hand, she dropped a golden feather into Elric's hand. "This feather is a symbol of my gratitude. Whenever you need it, just press it into your fist. I will come to your aid. But I know that your true wealth is
in your heart." With that, the fairy disappeared, her light scattering like stars. From that day forward, Elric's life was filled with abundance. Not wealth, but love, peace, brotherhood, and joy. Her kindness touched others. And the village became a place of joy and generosity. In every corner of the world, the fairy continued her work, helping the forgotten and downtrodden. Guided by the memory of this poor man who desired the happiness of others more than his own. And so Elric's name was remembered not as a man of means, but as a heart of immense compassion and a heart that changed the world.